When you're little, people always ask you what you want to be when you grow up. Many kids will reply with, well, I want to be a fireman, or I want to be an astronaut. Those careers are very realistic, but eventually down the road, they may end up changing those careers and choosing different ones. I'm one of those people. When I was little, I wanted to be a pediatrician, which is a children's doctor. It was always a dream of mine, and I knew for sure that that's what I wanted to be. As I got older, I eventually realized that the dream I once had was not going to become a reality. There were many reasons why I had to make a career change to being a nurse. I had a son. Doctors have to go to school a lot longer than nurses, and I needed a career where I would have a lot of interaction with people. When I had my son is when I realized that I needed to change career paths. I knew that going to school for that long period of time would put a burden on my family. I needed to be able to complete school and get into my career quicker since my family increased in size. As I began thinking about the time that I would be away from my family as I went to school full time, and then as I became a doctor, would mean that I would not be able to see my son as much. Nursing will give me the opportunity to be with him more, and there are different shifts that can be an option. I also knew that I would need to do better for my son. The job that I'm currently at is a decent position, and it shows that I'm working for my family, but I need to show my son that I can do better. I want my son to be proud of me when he grows up, someone that he can talk about to his friends proudly. I also need to show him that eventually you can achieve your goals and accomplish things in life as long as you work hard for it. In order to be a doctor, you have to go through extensive training. Typically, doctors go to school between 8 and 10 years. That is a lot of schooling. That's 4 years at a university and then 4 years in medical school. On top of school, doctors have to go and do internships and residencies at the hospitals, which can range from about 3 to 5 years. You could say that doctors spend around half of their life in school. That's a lot of time. Being as I had to get into my career a little quicker for my son's benefit, I could not go to school for another 14 years. Nurses typically go to college for 4 years, 2 years at a university, and then 2 years in nursing school. Nurses may not have to go to school as long, but it's still a lot of work. Nursing school is full-time, Monday through Friday, and most of the time it's 8 hours a day. They go through extensive training as well, with internships, and they have to do training at any job that they acquire. Many people say that being a nurse is a lot of work because they're always up and running around and taking care of patients. That is definitely true. They're always getting paged to different patients' rooms, and they're making sure that each patient is well taken care of. Doctors do not have interactions with patients, but they do have interactions with patients, but it's very minimal. I feel as if the nurses have way more interactions. They get acquainted with their patients, and they get to know them on a personal level. Being a nurse will absolutely make me feel like I'm making a difference, whether it's being there for somebody medically or being there for them personally. I want to know that when a patient goes home, they go home knowing that they have the best care possible. I am wanting to be able to interact with people and give them all that I can. Even though being a doctor is a big responsibility, I think that I would get more out of being a nurse. When I was little, my dream was to be a pediatrician, but now my dream is to become a pediatric nurse. That way I'm still able to work with kids, but I'm doing something that I think I would love more. I'm very excited for the journey ahead of me. Having a career change when you're so passionate about something can be very hard, but then you start to realize that the career that you choose will make you equally happy. My career change was based on many things that I had to spend a lot of time thinking about. I had my son, which meant I needed to make sure that I had more time to spend with him. I couldn't go to school for another 14 years, and I wanted to make sure that I was getting the most interaction with people that I could. Everyone always wants to make a difference in someone's life, and I know that by becoming a nurse, I will for sure make a difference.